Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome to the class of Corporate Finance. Today is our ninth lecture of Corporate Finance. Today we will discuss the valuation of long-term securities, the other part of long-term securities. Dear students, recall from the previous lecture we started the valuation of long-term securities in lecture 7. In lecture 7 we found out the values of different bonds, and those bonds were also long-term securities. We discussed three types of valuation: the perpetual bond valuation, the coupon bond valuation, and the zero coupon bond valuation. In lecture 8 we discussed the different topics related to the bonds, that were bond, adventure, call provision, and etc. and etc. So today we will discuss the remaining part of the valuation of long-term securities. And the start of the long-term securities in lecture 7, I told you that the organizations raise funds through the long-term securities for future projects. That was the bond. Bond was one way to raise funds for their organizations, but organizations are not limited to raise funds only through bonds. They are also supposed to raise funds by issuing stocks, preferred stocks and common stocks. So the other way is to raise funds for the organization is the issuing of preferred and common stocks. So today we will discuss the valuation of common stock and preferred stock. So if you remember, we discussed the distinctions among valuation concepts such as market value, book value, liquidation value we discussed. We also going concern value discussed. So these were distinction among valuation concepts. And we also discussed the bond valuation, that what is the bond valuation. Today we will discuss preferred stock valuation and common stock valuation. So first, let me start with the very first topic, that is preferred stock valuation. So first we must know about the preferred stock, that what is preferred stock. Preferred stock is a type of stock that promises a usually fixed dividend. It means that when the stock is issued by fixed dividend, it is called preferred stock, and it will be same like the perpetual bond. It becomes same like the bonds. Bonds also have fixed interest, and preferred stock also has fixed dividend. So only name is changed. That is called bonds, and this is called preferred stock. That is called fixed interest, and this is called fixed dividend. So, but at discretion of the board of directors. Discretion of the board of directors means that board of directors has the right to take decisions regarding the dividend payout ratio. That how we will pay the dividend. Either we pay full dividend to the investors, to the preferred stockholders, to the owners of the preferred stock, the person who is owning the preferred stock, or we will pay 50% of dividend to the preferred stock. Either we are not going to pay the preferred dividend to the preferred stockholder. So this means that discretion of the board of directors. Board of directors are supposed to decide how the dividends are paid to the preferred stockholders. So preferred stock has preference over common stock in the payment of dividend and claims on assets. It means that when the organizations pay dividends to the preferred stocks and common stock, so the preferred stock is preference on common stock. So preferred stocks are first paid the dividend to the preferred stockholders. And when the organization is failed and liquidated, the preferred stockholders have a claim on assets before the common stockholders. So therefore it is called preferred stock. From the name it denotes that it has preference on common stocks. So let's start with the preferred stock valuation. They are simple and they are same like the bonds valuation. If you remember, recall from the lecture 7, in bonds we also valued the bonds by same formula, but that there was interest payments, and here it's dividend payment. So dividend payment is discounted by 1 plus KP. KP means the required rate of investor, required rate of return of investor. So for the second year, for the third year, for the infinity life. So it's the same like the perpetual bond valuation. So here you can see summation. We sum all of the future dividends discounting. So summation of all, summation sign, summation of all the future dividends. So dividend divided by 1 plus KD whole is power by T. This reduced to the perpetuity. Before I told you it's same like the perpetual bond. So in perpetual bond we used to use V is equal to interest divided by KP. So here we use dividend P of divided by KP. So let's have a example. Stock preferred stock has an 8% of dividend and 100 is par value of the preferred stock. The appropriate discount rate is 10%. What is the value of the preferred stock? So dividend of P is equal to 100, it's par value, and 8% is the dividend. So it will become $8. So $8 divided by 0.1, it will become $80. So $80 is the preferred stock's intrinsic value. Now second type of the stock is the common stock valuation. Now first of all we are supposed to know about the common stock. That what is common stock? Common stock represents a residual ownership position in the corporation. It means that when I purchased the stock of Nokia Corporation, suppose let's say that I am going to purchase the common stock or share of the common stock of the Nokia Corporation. So I became the owner of the Nokia Corporation. So dividend is paid out in common stock on the base of pro rata share of future earnings. Pro rata means proportionate. If I purchased the one common stock of the Nokia Corporation, so the dividend will be issued to me on the base of one stock, one share. If I purchase 100 shares of common stock of the Nokia Corporation, so the dividend profit will be distributed to me on the base of 100 shares. If I purchased 1000 shares of the Nokia Corporation, so Nokia Corporation will distribute the profit to me on the base of 1000 shares of common stock. So it's therefore called pro rata share. The dividends may be paid out on of the pro rata share of earnings. So it's proportionate. Your profit, your income will be on the base of your shares. If you own 100 shares, your income will be on the base of 100 shares. If you own 1000 shares, your profit, your income will be on the base of 1000 shares. So therefore it's called pro rata share of future earnings. So common stock valuation. In common stock valuation, what cash flows will a shareholder receive when owning a share of common stock? There are two types of inflows, cash inflows to the common stockholder. First is future dividend, means dividends are paid out to the common stock shareholder, and the second, future sale of the common stock shares. So what is future sale? Means that now you purchased by $100 a share. After 5 years, the price of this share became $120. So $20 extra is income for you. So this is also cash inflow for you. So there are two types of cash inflows for the common stockholder. Basic dividend valuation model accounts for the present value of all future dividends. Before I told you that dividends are discounted to the present value, and this discounting of the present value will show the value of that stock. So V is equal to dividend of 1 divided by 1 plus KE whole is power by 1 plus dividend 2 for second year, for third year, for fourth year till infinity. So at the end we sum all the cash flows. Summation of all the cash flows of dividend T divided by 1 plus KE whole is power by T, where dividend T, cash dividend at time T, and equity investors required return. Adjusted dividend valuation model. when in the valuation model, valuation formula, we add the price of future sale out of common stock. So when we add that price, so it will become the adjusted dividend valuation model. The basic dividend valuation model adjusted for the future stock sale. When you sell out the stock in the future, so the price of that stock will be added to the valuation model, so it will become the adjusted dividend valuation model. So n, the year in which the firm's share are expected to be sold, and price n, the expected share price in year n. So this is adjusted dividend valuation model. Now, dividend growth pattern assumptions. How dividends are growing. The dividend valuation model requires the forecast of all future dividends. So this is forecast. From now, you are going to purchase the Nokia Corporation's common stock shares. Now, they provided that you are expecting that there will be three types of growths. There you are expecting that in the first growth, there is constant growth model. First year, in the zero, you are paid out $1 as a dividend. But in year one, it's growing by 10%. So you will get dividend of $1.1. In second year, you will get 1.1 to $1 because it's again grow by 1%, 10%. So it's constant growth model. Second is no growth model. No growth model means that there is no growth. Fixed dividend is paid for the infinity life. And the third, there is growth phases. Growth phases means that there are 2 phases, maybe 3 phases, maybe 4 phases. For the first 3 years, there is 5% growth. For the second 3 years, there is 6% growth. For the third 3 years, there is maybe possible 2% growth. For the fourth phase, there is constant growth of 5%. So it's growth phases model. So let me start with the very first, that is constant growth model. And constant growth model assumes that dividend will grow forever at the rate of G. So the same formula of the general or basic growth model is V is equal to D naught multiplied by 1 plus G divided by 1 plus KE. So D naught means D0. D0 means on time 0, time present time, you are getting only dividend without growth. But in year 1, you are getting 1 plus growth. For second year, you are getting 1 plus growth whole is power by 2. For third year, whole is power by 3. For 4, for 5. So as the life of this common stock is infinite, it has infinity life. So we reduce this formula to D1 divided by KE minus G. So it's a constant growth model formula. So D1 shows the dividend paid at time 1. The G shows the growth rate, constant growth rate, and K is the investor's required return. So constant growth model example. If constant growth model stock has expected that growth rate will be of 8%. Each share of stock just receive one annual 3.24 dividend per share. The appropriate discount rate is 15%. What is the value of the common stock? So simply D1 is equal to 3.24. It's the dividend for every year, and 8% is growing for every year. So 1 plus 0.8. So it will become 3.5. So value of constant growth is equal to D1 divided by KE minus G. So KE is 15% and G is 8%. So 0.15 minus 0.08, it will become 0.7. So 3.5 divided by 0.7, it will become $50. So intrinsic value of the constant growth common stock will be $50. Next, zero growth model. The zero growth model assumes that dividend will grow forever at the rate of G is equal to 0. It means that there is no growth. The same dividend is paid for every year, upcoming every year for future years. So value of zero growth model is equal to D1 divided by 1 plus KE plus D2 divided by 1 plus KE, D3 divided by 1 plus KE, whole is power by 3, and so on till infinity. So it is reduced to D1 divided by KE because there is no growth. Growth is finished. D1 is dividend paid out at time 0 and investors required rate of return. So you can see example. Stock zero growth has an expected growth rate of 0%. Each share of stock just received on annual 3.24 dividend per share. The appropriate discount rate is 15%. What is the value of the common stock? So D1 3.24 multiplied by 1 plus 0. So it again will become same to same 3.24 because there is no growth. So 3.24 divided by 0.7 because 0.15 because there is no growth. So 0.15 minus 0, it becomes 0.15. So 3.24 divided by 0.15, it will become $21.6. So the value of zero growth model at the rate of 3.24 dividend, at the rate of 0% growth, at the rate of 15% discount rate will be $21.6. Now third model is growth phases model. Dear students, you are supposed to concentrate most on this. It's a lengthy process and step by step we will find out the value of growth phase model. The growth phase model assumes that dividend for each share will grow at 2 or more different growth rates. So the same formula, general basic formula for the growth phase. V is equal to summation of D naught multiply 1 plus growth rate 1 whole is power by T divided by 1 plus K whole is power by T plus summation of all future cash flows. This is the first phase and the second is second phase. This is first phase and plus second phase. Both phases will be added. So second, note that the second phase of the growth phase model assumes that dividend will grow at a constant rate. For the first phase, there is no constant rate. For the second phase, there is constant. It means that you are provided with the growth phase model common stock by 2 phases. Maybe possible there are 3 phases, there are 4 phases. So value is equal to D naught multiplied by 1 plus G1 whole is power by T divided by 1 plus Ke whole is power by T plus 1 by K 1 plus Ke whole is power by N multiplied by D of N plus 1 divided by Ke minus G2. So this is the whole formula for the growth phases model. So let's start with example. Stock GP has an expected growth rate of 16% for the first 3 years. So it's first phase. In the first phase, you have 16% of growth in the dividend and 8% thereafter. So in the second phase, there is 8% growth for the infinity life. Each share of stock just received an annual of 3.24% dollar dividend per share. The appropriate rate is same 15%. What is the value of the common stock under this scenario? So let's start the solution. First of all, the first step, you are supposed to draw a timeline for the growth phases. So from the 0 to 3, you can see in the timeline from 0 to 3, it's one phase. In this phase, the dividend is growing by 16%. In the second phase, from D3 to and so on, the growth rate is 8%. So stock GP has 2 phases of growth. The first 16% starts at time T is equal to 0 for 3 years and is followed by 8% thereafter starting at time T is equal to 3. We should view the timeline as 2 separate timelines in the valuation. We can separate them. From 0 to 3, it's one phase. From 3 to infinite life, this is second phase. In the first phase, there is no constant growth model, but in the second phase, there is constant growth model. And for the constant growth model, we have this formula: V3 is equal to D4 divided by K minus G. K minus G. We can use this model because dividend grow at a constant 8% rate beginning at the end of 3 years. So V3 is equal to D4 divided by K minus G. From the 0 to 3, there is no constant growth model. From after 3 years, there is constant growth model. So we are supposed to find out 4 dividends from year 4 to infinity with the value at time T is equal to 3 and value is equal to 3. Simpler. So you can see in the first line, first phase, there is no constant growth model. In the second phase, there is constant growth model. We can use this formula D4 divided by K minus G. So we are supposed to find out 4 dividends to calculate the necessary cash flows. So D0 or D naught is equal to 3.24, which is already paid out without any growth. But in D1, there is growth for the first year, which is equal to 1 plus growth 1, 3.24 multiplied by 1.16. In first phase, first year, 16% growth, which becomes 3.76. In D2, D naught multiplied by 1 plus G1 whole is power by 2. 3.24 multiplied by 1.16 whole is power by 2. It will become 4.36. For D3, D naught 1 plus G1 whole is power by 3, which is equal to 3.24 multiplied by 1.16 whole is power by 3, which will become 5.06. So this is completed for one phase. Now for the second phase, D naught is not used for the second phase. Now D3 is D naught for the second phase. D3 is D naught for the second phase. So D4 is equal to D3 1 plus G2 whole is power by 1. So 5.06 is D3. So 5.06 multiplied by 1.08. You can see in second phase we said that there is 8% growth whole is power by 1, which becomes 5.46. Now for the first phase in first year there is 3.76. For the second phase there is 4.36. For the third year there is 5.06. These are growth. So for the second phase, D4 is equal to 5.46. You can see D4 is equal to 5.46. It will be divided by 0.15 minus 0.8, constant growth model. So 0.15 minus 0.8, it will become 0.7. 5.46 divided by 0.7, it will become $78. So now we need to find out the present values of all these cash flows: 3.76, 4.36 and 5.06. They will be discounted to the zero, to the present value. Now I have found out the present values on the base of from the table, and I hope you are familiar with the table, with the present value interest factor table. So present value of D1 multiplied by present value interest factor of 15%, and for 1 year it will become 0.870 multiplied by 3.76. It will be 3.27. For present value second D2, it will be 3.3. Same process for the present value of D3, so it will be 3.33. Now P3 is equal to 5.46. You are familiar. We found out before 5.46, which became 78, and 78 is also discounted to the present value. So 78 multiplied by 0.658 of 15% for 3 years. So 51, it will become 51.32. Now finally we calculate the intrinsic value by summing all the cash flows present values. So 3.27 plus 3.30 plus 3.33 plus 51.32, it will become V is equal to $61.22. It will be value of a common stock phase model, growth phase model. So I hope you have gotten with plenty of knowledge regarding common stock valuation and preferred stock valuation. Dear students, I will provide you 2 questions regarding the valuation of common stock and preferred stock. So you are supposed to find out the solutions for those examples, and it will be considered your first assignment, and it will have 5 marks if you submitted on time. Then you are rewarded with 5 marks. If you will not submit on time, then you will be rewarded 0 marks. So you are supposed to find out the examples, the solution of examples. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. Have a good time.